Hello everyone, today we are going to do a case-based learning on the special pathology, and the topic is cardiovascular system, and we are going to study about the cardiomyopathies. So the scenario will be moving around cardiomyopathies. So let us start. This is the case. We shall first study it and catch all the findings, and then discuss the pathophysiology and the outcomes. Okay, let us start. The case presentation is a 42 years old woman presented herself to the emergency services in cardiogenic shock. She had a history of progressively worsening breathlessness for the past year. However, no medical evaluation had been performed earlier. At presentation, her pulse rate was 110 beats per minute, regular and low volume, and her blood pressure was 90 by 70 millimeter of mercury. On auscultation, third heart sound was present, so we know that S3 was present, but no murmurs were heard. Her ECG showed normal sinus rhythm and non-specific ST changes. Her routine blood biochemistry, including liver and renal function test, was within normal limits, except for the mild anemia, and hemoglobin was 9.5 grams per deciliter. Her chest X-ray is shown in figure. So the questions are asked: discuss the pathogenesis of dilated cardiomyopathy, describe the changes in heart musculature, and describe the mechanism of heart failure. First of all, we got to look at the picture. This investigation modality is chest X-ray, and we can see that this X-ray is actually a mirror image of us. So we can discern that what is the right and left side, and the shadowing which is present upon the right side should not be present, because the heart and its apex and its structure is actually a component of left side. I don't know if you can see the cursor. So we'll move on to next and find out the findings which are given in this case. These are the findings that she's a woman and her age is 42, and she presented with cardiogenic shock in the emergency services. Actually, she is having dyspnea. For the past year, her heart rate is 110. Normally, it is around 72 million given in range, and blood pressure is 90 by 70. So you can see that systolic blood pressure is actually much lower than it should be. S3 heart sound is present. So we know that there are mainly two normal heart sounds: S1, which is produced by closure of AV valves, and S2, which is produced by closure of semilunar valves. Here S3 is also present. We know that when blood moves from the atria into ventricle, it causes the contraction of the chordae tendineae, which are connected to the flaps of valves. This produces the S3 heart sound. Non-specific ST changes, LFTs, and renal function tests are normal. She has mild anemia. Her hemoglobin is 9.8 milligram per deciliter. So looking upon this picture, we are able to see that this is a case of dilated cardiomyopathy. And the next question is pathogenesis of dilated cardiomyopathy. Okay. We know that in the heart musculature, normal arrangement of cardiomyocytes is in the parallel. Continuous strain for the long years and years causes this parallel arrangement to shift to series arrangement, wherein the cells are present in series, and it causes actually weakening of the ventricular wall. This weakening will present with thin walls of the ventricles, and the geometry change from the elongated heart musculature to saccular heart musculature, wherein the space is huge and space is increased from the normal. So the blood will be present in the ventricles for a long period of time. It will provide a nidus for the coagulation cascade to start, and the clotting will start in the atrium. Mainly we can see that in right atrium. Okay, if this enlargement progresses into the right ventricle, that will, when the right ventricle will contract, it will cause the pressure to strike onto the valves, and if the valvular dysfunction arises, then the jugular venous pulse will see that it is distended, and upon the left side it will cause the pulmonary effusion into the lung parenchyma, and it will present with dyspnea, as you can see in this case that she has dyspnea, shortness of breath, and labored breathing she's having for the last 1 year. Okay, we'll see pooling of the blood in the peripheries, because when the right side of the heart fails, this causes the pooling of blood in the peripheries. Pitting edema will be seen in the ankles, and when the left side fails, it causes the perfusion into the lungs. Effusion into the lungs. Okay, discuss the pathogenesis of dilated cardiomyopathy. Actually, dilated cardiomyopathy is due to the systolic dysfunction. Systolic dysfunction means that with each contraction, the heart will not be able to pump all of the blood, and so little amount of blood will always be present. Systolic volume will be decreased, and at the end of contraction, the systolic volume which the left ventricle has to pump out with each contraction will be reduced, and so all of the water blood will not be pumped out of the either the right ventricle or the left ventricle. So the perfusion of the distal peripheral organs will also be decreased, and the venous return will also be hampered as the blood is not able to suck out the blood. Heart is not able to. We need to know that the left ventricle at the end of the contraction acts like a suction pump which causes the blood to move from the atria to the ventricles. So in systolic dysfunction, the blood will not be moved easily from the upper chambers into lower chambers. So the pooling of the blood will cause the coagulation cascade to start, which will manifest as the coagulation disorders. There the thrombogenesis can start. Then this thrombus can actually embolize on and move on to the distal organs, and when it can also move by the carotid arteries into the brain and cause the stroke. So the right side of the heart will cause the embolus to move into the lungs and cause the pulmonary hypertension, because that clot will lodge onto there and will hamper the movement of the blood. So we know the changes in the heart, that it will move from elongated to the more secular state, wherein we know that left ventricle will attain the shape of a sac, and that will cause the dilation of the ventricles, and it will lead to the heart failure. First the left heart failure will rise, which will progress to the right heart failure. Okay, so we'll now move on to the Wikipedia and see what it does present. Dilated cardiomyopathy is a condition in which heart becomes enlarged with leg swelling, shortness of the breath, and fainting. Fainting is actually a symptom of feature of syncope, it is called, because heart is not able to pump the blood to the brain, and it will cause a short period of unconsciousness. It will lead to the heart failure, heart valvular disease, and irregular heartbeat. Causes include genetics, alcohol, and certain toxins and certain infections, chronic artery disease, high blood pressure. This disease actually also presents during the pregnancy, that is called peripartum dilated cardiomyopathy, and postpartum is also present. In many cases, uh, it is cardiomyopathy. As you can see in this, the left ventricular wall is shown. It is actually dilated. In many cases, cause remains unclear, so it is idiopathic, and main modalities of investigation are chest X-ray and echocardiogram. While for the treatment, main drugs which are recommended are ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, and diuretics, because these decrease the preload. Less blood will move into the atria and then to the lower chambers, and less force will be required to push out this blood. Low salt diet and the blood thinners. Blood thinners are actually required to prevent the clotting in the atria. Implantable cardioversion and defibrillators are also indicated. We know the signs and symptoms, which are shortness of breath, syncope, and angina, because it is systolic dysfunction and the heart is not able to provide the blood to its own musculature well. So it will present with angina, which is the pain due to ischemia. JVP will be raised, and low pulse pressure. Pulse pressure is actually the difference between the systolic and diastolic pressure. Signs of mitral and tricuspid agitation may also be seen. Main different causes are given in here. The infectious causes include the Chagas disease, which is due to Trypanosoma cruzi. We know that the swelling will in and around the eyes is seen, and that is Romana sign, and this Chagas disease is due to this Trypanosoma cruzi. Pregnancy, peripartum cardiomyopathy is also present, as we know. Alcohol abuse, non-alcoholic toxic results include administration of certain chemotherapeutic agents, as doxorubicin and cobalt. Muscular dystrophy and tuberculosis also present with it. Actually, here is the genetics. Each heart muscle, each muscle of the body has a cytoskeleton. So any of the problem in the cytoskeleton may cause the proteins to go deranged, and that will present with the dysfunctional cells. Pathophysiology, as you can see, the heart chambers have enlarged, and it will cause the heart to not able to pump out all of the blood. So in compensation for this disease, the heart will show the sympathetic nervous system response to increase the heart rate and flaps Starling's law, which actually means that all of the blood which moving into the chamber will have to be moved out. Well, we'll talk about it in detail. Computational models when we look at that, so we know that whenever the ventricle is contracted, it will cause the force to be applied onto the valves and it will cause valvular dysfunction. Diagnosis is made by the echocardiography. EKG often shows sinus tachycardia, atrial fibrillation, and ventricular arrhythmias. As you can see in here, that ST segment is elevated, and capital Q waves are seen. Well, that is mainly seen in MI, which is an old one. Treatment is mainly by the beta blockers. Beta blockers reduce the oxygen requirement of the heart musculature. Sniffed and the diuretics are also administered. Surgical treatment for transplant is required when the end-stage heart failure is seen. So today we talked about dilated cardiomyopathy and we came to know that systolic dysfunction causes the heart musculature wall to go thin and the huge chambers with lots of the blood are seen which are not able to pump out all of the blood, and the force will cause the blood to strike onto the valves and cause the valvular dysfunction, which leads to the heart failure, either left or the right. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up.